whole frickin' diva for 40 frickin' years.
She'd put a lot of thought into what she wanted this tour to be. So it was a nice mixture of new things and old things and things that the audience was dying to see again, because it was really a retrospective of her career and her life.
Cher's fascinating life began in a small West Coast town near the Mexican border. Sherilyn Sarkisian was born on May 20th, 1946. The eldest daughter of a struggling singer who did her best to provide for Cher and her younger sister, Georgianne.
Oh, we were dead poor. I mean, we were just so poor. My mother had to work really hard to make ends meet. But where we lived, too, nobody had a lot more than we did.
Cher was really proud of her mother for being an independent woman before her time. Georgia, who's drop-dead gorgeous, she was trying to fulfill her Hollywood dream, and she was married many times.
I love her remark. She said, my mom has been married 8 times, and she says, I don't remember a man being in the house.
Cher's dad, John Sarkisian, was rarely around to see her grow up. Cher didn't know much about him, but she clearly inherited his strong ethnic features. And in her early years, she hated it.
My mother was blonde, my sister was blonde. I'm really most like my great-grandmother, who's the Indian. That was hard for me growing up, too, because I didn't want to have any Indian blood. I didn't want anyone to know. My mother married off your Cherokee. My mother's people were ashamed of me. The Indian said that I was led by law. The one that always called me strong.
Cher hated it. She just hated being dark. And I said, you know what? You're different. You are different. You're exotic and a different kind of beauty.
I think it's interesting that she's always felt she was an outsider. And that someplace there's a strength in that.
When I was growing up, there were no people that looked like me. You know, there was Sandra Dee and a bunch of these blonde girls that looked like Barbie. So it was very difficult. I had nobody to relate to at all. The first person I really related to was Audrey Hepburn because she was fabulous, but she also didn't fit the stereotypical Marilyn Monroe blonde upturned nose kind of deal.
But as Cher matured, she became beautiful and headstrong.
I didn't know what to do with her. When she became a teenager, I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do?
I was tired of taking orders. I think I was probably tired of taking orders when I was about 5. But I was too short to get an apartment.
She was very creative, but she hated school. Finally, I married again, and I had the money then to put her in a private school, but she didn't even want to stay in a private school, so I bribed her by giving her drama lessons.
It looked like Cher might pursue acting, but fate would intervene. At only 16 years old, Cher met the man who would change her life.
Walked through the door, and someone said, oh, look, there's Sonny. And I turned around, and I looked across the room, and everybody else disappeared. And there was this guy with long hair and dressed like no one I'd ever seen, and so completely eccentric.
Cher and Sonny developed a friendship that soon became a romance. She felt security in his fatherly embrace, and she adored his combination of drive and childlike passion for living.
I just was this kind of wild child. And he had been married once, and he was 28 and had been in the music business and had been trying to be a singer forever. And then when he'd given it up, he met me, and then all of a sudden everything kind of happened.
By 1963, Sonny was working for Phil Spector, arguably the greatest pop music producer of the time.
Phil Spector was a rebel. In the musical sense, what he was doing was he was taking all these chances.
The idea of having 3 piano players and 3 bass players and all this huge ensemble.
Building something just bigger than life for everybody to listen to and go, and just get stunned by. What is this sound?
Oh yeah, the wall. The wall of sound.
Spector operated out of Gold Star Studios in Los Angeles, where Sonny listened, learned, and dreamed of bigger things. Meanwhile, he was busy doing the little things.
We used to call him a gopher. It was our wonderful, cute little name for Sonny because he would go for anything. He was the guy that had to run around and do everything for Phil.
I used to go to the sessions with him and just hang out.
We used to notice this girl that used to come with Sonny. She was very thin, very white. And she had black hair. And her bangs came all the way down. You couldn't hardly see her eyes. They were in her eyes, and this long, straight hair that just hung. And she just kind of sat in the corner, not saying anything. So one day I asked Sonny, who was that? She's always hanging around. He said, oh, that's my girlfriend, that's Cher.
And then one night, Darlene, her car broke down, and Philip was really pissed because he wanted to start the session. And Sonny said, Cher sings, because I was always singing around the house. And so he said, all right, we'll just get out there. I was trying to explain to him, what I thought my qualifications were, and he said, I don't care, I just want noise. That was Be My Baby, and that was the first thing I did, and then the last thing I did was You Lost That Love and Feeling, and we did everything in between.
And she was so loud, so powerful. She was louder than everybody in the studio. So Phil would keep telling her, okay, move back, Cher, move back, Cher. One time I said, you gonna move her back so far, she's gonna be out in the alley in a minute.
Cher put in her time by anonymously blending in with the other singers at Gold Star. But Sonny had visions of bringing her out of the shadows and into the spotlight.
I'd had the year with Philip to kind of practice, but it was always with a group of people, and I was always standing 3 feet behind everybody. So all of a sudden to be the lead vocal, that was much more scary for me. And that's why I made Sonny do the harmonies and stuff, because I knew I wasn't going to be going out there by myself.
Coming up.
We went from being completely unsuccessful and really trying in America to being heroes in England literally a week from the day that we got there.
I got you, babe. I got you, babe.
In 1964, an 18-year-old Cher had put her faith in the 30-year-old Sonny Bono.
But he was that driving force behind them. He knew exactly where he was going and what he wanted to do with her.
I have been in the record business much longer than Cher, and then when we got together, we sort of generated each other. She was my inspiration.
In the beginning, it was more like hero worship than really falling in love with him. I just was kind of mesmerized by him. I mean, he wore high moccasins and buckskin pants and had long hair, and he did things that grown-ups just didn't do.
Sonny's first attempt at turning Cher into a solo artist faltered. He then packaged the two of them as a duo. A duo in need of a job, some cash, and a manager.
I went into my office, I called my secretary, I said, who or what is that out there? Because she was in an Indian outfit, barefoot, and he was in fur vest and long hair. And I thought it looked like Prince Valiant. And they said they were Caesar and Cleo.
I'm writing this letter.
The name Caesar and Cleo didn't stick, but the partnership was solid. Sonny would write the songs, and Cher would sing them, with some coaxing.
He'd be playing the piano at like 3 o'clock in the morning and then come in the room and say, Cher, wake up, I need you to sing something for me. And I'd go, no, I'm embarrassed. And he'd go, God damn it, Cher, it's just you and I in the room. And I'd go, I can't do it. And he would just get so furious and just so exasperated. And then finally I would sing it, and he'd go, okay.
In 1965, Sonny and Cher were down on their luck, and down to their last dime. They hawked everything to record Sonny's latest song and peddled themselves overseas. Soon after arriving in England, they caused a sensation for being tossed out of the London Hilton. Management may have objected to the way they were dressed, but kids thought they looked great.
They say we're young and we don't know.
We went from being completely unsuccessful and really trying in America to do something to being heroes in England in a week Really, literally a week from the day that we got there.
Babe, I got you, babe. I got you, babe. They say our love won't pay the rent before it's earned. Our money's all been spent.
I Got You, Babe combined the influences of Phil Spector, the Beatles, and good old American pop. The result was pure gold, and the strange couple singing the song were equally unforgettable.
Babe, I got you, babe. I got you, babe.
It's funny how we locate moments in our lives by certain songs.
I got flowers.
I can remember the bump on the sidewalk on my walk to high school, where I first heard I Got You, Babe. And I had my transistor radio, and that song came on for the first time.
Put your little hand in mine.
I don't remember when I Got You, Babe wasn't popular. Just like Groundhog Day, the beginning of each one of those scenes where Bill Murray's sleeping and the alarm goes off and it's like every day was like that for years, it seemed. You know, so I really related to that whole feeling of that being the soundtrack of what we were up to.
I got you, babe. It's choosing. She's making choices. I got you.
I got you to hold my hand. I got you to understand. I got you to walk with me. I got you to talk.
I knew what Sonny sounded like, and I knew what Cher sounded like. That nasal sound she had, which we all, you know, laugh about to this day.
It's almost like their voices don't go together, but they did. Somehow they made that work.
I got you, babe.
When I Got You, Babe was released, it became an overnight phenomenon. It just went right straight to the top. And then they released all the stuff they had released before, didn't go anywhere. And we had like 5 records on the top 5.
When we got back to America, there were like 5,000 kids waiting at the airport. And then the first thing we did was the Ed Sullivan Show.
When people say you're not my kind, and that your clothes are out of line, your hair isn't combed all the time, you're not real pretty, but you're mine.
People thought we were ridiculous, but we really thought we looked beautiful and took a lot of pride in our clothes.
They used to wear these god-awful, horrible outfits. I think they like some kind of fur vest and Cher with the help us, Lord, help us out here.
But I got some real.
You ever try to analyze it yourself?
No, but I haven't. He has, but it's too hard for me to figure out.
Sonny, what do you think?
I think it's a combination of things. I think timing, of course, was very important. And then the fact that we're a married couple has a big bearing on our success because all our fan mail kids are very happy that we're married and that we love each other.
There was just one problem. Sonny and Cher weren't really married. They had performed an impromptu wedding ceremony in their bathroom, but they didn't legalize their marriage until 1968. Fortunately, no one had caught on to their little deception.
And I had never heard of our next guest. In fact, very few people had ever heard of Mr. and Mrs. Salvador Bono. But now, all of a sudden, they have 5 big hits, records in the top 50. And it looks like that the Bonos are going to be around for a long, long time. Of course, you probably know them much better by their first names, Sonny and Cher.
Sonny and Cher were sort of like the flavor of the year in the mid-'60s. I mean, they were a couple. They dressed mod. They were sort of unthreatening. When they began to rise in the charts, they'd be fair game for all the variety shows on TV, but especially the ones the kids were watching.
But Sonny and Cher were about to discover that kids could be fickle, and their good times would soon be at an end.
After the break, Cher's first attempts at being a movie star.
Chastity was Sonny's attempt to make Cher into a movie diva that sort of bombed notoriously.